हेलो हेलो
येस सर.
सर ते हे याच्यावर मध्ये मल्टिपल स्क्रीन शेअर नाही करता येत का याच्यामध्ये झूम मध्ये?
मल्टिपल म्हणजे ऍट अ टाइम 2 का?
नाही म्हणजे कसं आहे की आता मी जर पॉवर पॉइंट शेअर केलं ना
हा.
तर ते मला परत जर टॅब्स मध्ये जायचं असेल तर टॅबचं परत शेअर करायला लागतं. ते काही याच्यामध्ये जसं वेबएक्स वगैरे त्याच्यामध्ये काय तुम्ही तुमची स्क्रीन शेअर करू शकता. तुमच्या स्क्रीनवर जे दिसेल ते सर्व ते ऑटोमॅटिक शेअर होतं. मग याच्यामध्ये काय होतं की कधी कधी जर मी ते विसरलो की टॅब्स स्क्रीन शेअर करायची किंवा माझ्या लक्षात नाही आलं किंवा पॉवर पॉइंटची तर मग इश्यू होतो.
इथे खाली ऑप्शन आहे ना मल्टिपल शेअरचा.
कुठे मल्टिपल शेअर?
शेअर मध्ये एक मिनिट मी मल्टिपल शेअरचा ऑप्शन ऑन करू तुमच्यासाठी.
हम्म.
Many participants can share at the same time. पण मल्टिपल विंडो नाही म्हटलं याच्यामध्ये.
That multiple share is like that two people
Yeah.
can share.
Yes. किंवा मग मला करता येईल असं पीपीटी आणि माझ्याकडून आणि तुम्ही ई-टॅब असं करता येईल.
नाही ठीक आहे सर, ते तसं पण
ते आता काही अडचण तर नाही आपल्याला, आता
स्क्रीनशॉट
झालं ना बऱ्यापैकी, आता पण काही अडचण नाही आली तशी.
नाही, आता 1-2 वेळा झालं तसं, पण ठीक आहे, व्हॉट एव्हर. आय विल ट्राय टू
अल्टर टॅप करून तुम्ही तुमचं स्क्रीन शिफ्ट करू शकता ना ई-टॅब मधून आणि पीपीटी वर.
ठीक आहे चालेल सर, मी हे करतो, मी जस्ट हे करतो.
येस.
ओके, थँक्यू.
Sir, there are some questions in the chat box, so we will talk about that. And after
Yeah.
2-3 minutes, till the participants will cross over 20, then we will start.
Okay. For composite structure, what value of I gross shall be considered? I think you mean like what effective stiffness we should consider. So I am not sure like what this value should be considered. So
For I gross, we have to take, I think.
No. Actually, there is also concrete, no. So for steel, we are taking I gross. Okay, but for that concrete portion, there will be some cracking. So the one way is like you estimate actual cracking based on forces you have, and then you get it. But I am not aware of any codal provision for composite structure. So how much? But best way is to estimate actual cracking. So
Now we will start now.
Yeah, okay. So there was one question like uh, or request like he or she wants to like show how we can assign joint offsets. So I will show you. So go to like select all, go to assign, frame, then end length offset, and here you have like different options: automatic from connectivity, define length. So we are going to consider automatic from connectivity, and then the rigid zone factor, like whatever rigid zone factor you want to consider, that you can consider. If you want to assign this end offset only for column, then you have to select only column. So if you are going to assign for beam, then only select beams. If you want to assign for like beams and columns, you have to select both, and then whatever rigid zone factor you want to apply, you can put it here and say apply. So you can see these rigid zones are defined here. Okay, I hope that clears your doubt. So next I'm going to move is to define so how to like how ETABS has assembled the joint masses. So go run this analysis. So once analysis is done, go to display, show table. In show table, you will see like analysis result, and in analysis result, you will have this joint output, and in joint output, there is the assembled joint masses option. So you select that and click OK. So you will see the assembled joint masses are provided here in a table. So then you can export this to Excel. Now it is exported to the Excel. So let me share that Excel screen. Okay, now you can see this assembled joint masses at different story, like story 4, 3, 2, 1, and the at base. Because at base we have supports, so the at base this mass is assembled at every support. So the whatever values are provided in the tons, so we can convert that into the kilonewton. So just multiply by 10. So you will get this. So these values are in kilonewton now, and you can see the mass is in x and y direction is same. And so this is your lump mass at the top level at story 4 1903 kN, and at other stories it's 2278.68 kilonewton. So if we go to our screen, so here you can see that at top level it is 1903 kilonewton, and at other three levels is 2197.22. So the next what we have to do, like we have to calculate base shear. From here we got like how much base shear in terms of a percentage of seismic weight is there. So we know 4%. Now we also know the seismic weight now, like seismic weight is 3 times 2197 into 22. That is mass lumped at story 1, 2, and 3. And the last one is 1903.75. That is weight at the story 4. So total seismic weight is 8495.41. Okay. And the base shear in x direction, AHX into W, that is 4% of seismic weight, and which we can see it's greater than 1.1% for seismic zone 2. Seismic zone 3, it is 1.1%, and we have 4%, it's greater than minimum base shear. So that our base shear is now 339.82 kilonewton in x direction, and similarly in y direction, and so we will get this. So the next step, so this was based on the hand calculation. So we know our base shear is 339.82. So now let's go to ETABS, and now we have to see like how ETABS is doing it. So let me unlock this and go to define load pattern. So now we are going to create a equivalent static load case. So that is, let us say that is EQX, and here this type will be seismic and auto load pattern from the code IS 1893 2016. So add new pattern. Now go to modify lateral loads. So here we are considering only in X direction. So if you want to consider eccentricity, you can select this, and you can also enter the eccentricity ratio here. So seismic zone is 0.16, soil type is 2, importance factor is 5, response reduction factor is 5, and sorry, importance factor, okay, 1. And the period is user defined period. Now we know we just calculated that in X direction, our period is 0.288. So in X direction, so this value you have to enter. You have 3 options here, but I prefer using this. So you have better control like what period you are considering. So this period is based on what code expressions are providing. So this is, so you can add a new case that is in Y direction. So add new load case, and you can modify this, and we are going to consider only in Y direction. So this is 0.16, soil type 2, importance factor is 1, and response reduction factor is 5, and period is user defined. So in other direction it was 0.394. Okay, so the equivalent static load case we have defined. So let us run the analysis. Now go to display. Go to display, show table. In show table, in analysis results, you can go for structure output and base reactions. So base reactions, we are interested in getting reactions for this earthquake in X direction and Y direction. So okay, you can see. So here you can see the equivalence static load case in X direction, we are getting 342.83, and as per hand calculation, we are getting around 339. So we are very close. So the whatever base shear we are getting due to equivalent static analysis, it's this in X direction and Y direction. So both values are matching, since there is no change as per hand calc also. So we are good. Okay. So the next step would be Next step is to distribute this load on the floor level. So we calculated this value as a whole, but we have to distribute this load on the floors. So how the code is asking us to do that? So we can let us do this. So here you can see one Excel. I think before that I would like to show you this. Okay, so what code is saying, like whatever base share you got, so that number now we want to distribute along the height on the floors using this equation. This is Wi into HI square. Wi is your lumped mass at that floor. HI is the height of that floor, and we are doing the summation of Wj, Hj. So whatever floors we have, so the summation of all the product of the weight into height. So if we do that, so you will get that distribution at that particular level using this expression. So let me show you that in Excel sheet how we can do it. Okay, so here you can see we have floors from base. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4 floor number. Then height is 3.1 meter. The height above the ground is 3.1, 6.2, 9.3, 12.4. And the weights, whatever weights we have, you have to enter that weights here, the seismic weight. And the that is called as Wi, and this is HI, height above the ground. So the HI square we have done here, and the next column is product of like Wi and HI you get, and this is the summation of that. So the whatever force you are getting here is that WIHI square divided by summation of all WIHI into VB. So whatever base shear is you have in X direction that you have. So now you can see this is the distribution you are getting, like how much force you are applying here. So I think we had a value of around 339 point something, like 42. So here, and I think this was around 1932 something. It was there. So now here you can see the summation is 339.42 and this load is applied. Now if you go to ETABS, so go to display, show table. So here you can see element output. Yeah, okay. So in structure output, you can see the story forces, and only 2 cases are selected. So we can see output case only QX, step number, let us say location only bottom, and step.
Sir, excuse me, that screen is not visible.
No, okay, sorry. So go to, sorry, go to display. Now you can see display,
Yes,
show
sir.
table. Show table. Let me know if in case you are not seeing screen. So I am keep switching screens. So in like go analysis result, then in structure output, story forces, and here select only 2 load cases that we are interested in. Okay, so you will get that here. So you can see the forces are given at top and bottom. So I am just selecting bottom, and here load case X only, and the story number I'll say. Okay, so the step number I am not filtering now, but you can see like all say it's 167, and in based on hand calculation we are getting similar value 167, 280, 330 and 442. So similar value, very close value we are getting. So we are good to go. So next one is so this calculation will be similar for X and Y direction. So this was about the equivalent static method and how force is calculated using equivalent static method and how it is distributed along the height. So the next is we have to go for the response spectrum analysis. So in the response spectrum analysis, if you see the code, so what code is saying, like basically the difference between the equivalent static method and the response spectrum method is like in the response vector you are considering multiple modes, and in equivalent static method you are considering only one mode, like first period. In X direction what is the first period, and in Y direction what is the first period. So that only we are considering, but here we are considering multiple modes. So the question comes like how many modes we should consider. So the code says you consider mode where we have 90% seismic mass participation. So how we can check this? So go to ETABS. So and here we have to unlock the model. Now go to define, and here you have model cases. So in model cases, you can see here the maximum number of modes. So current by default it is 12 number of modes. So now we are going to run model analysis. So go to analyze, set analysis cases to run, and just switch on this, the model case. So now we can run that. So once analysis is run, go to display, show table, and in show table in structure output a model information. So you can see the model participating mass ratios. So click OK. So here model participating mass ratios, you will get this number. You can just export it to Excel. So Excel, so you can Excel, here you can see UX participation in X direction, participation in Y direction, and we have participation in Z direction. So you can see here now this is some, we have X, Y, Z. So I simply click to this percentage and we can, oh my God. Now here you can see I have a participation. The first mode is in Y direction, so participation is 96%. So other in mode 2 we have a 94% participation, and the third mode, that is torsional, that also has 96% participation. So this way you can see the how many modes you require. So whatever modes we have considered, like 12 modes, that those modes are good enough. So next one. So the next step would be to define the response spectrum case. So just unlock model, go to define. In define load cases, we need to go. In load cases, add new load case. So here response spectrum in X direction. So in load case type, I can select response spectrum, then add acceleration. So in X direction, here in this is joint that U1, U2, U3. The joint local axis is U1 in X, U2 in Y, and U3 in UZ. So here we are doing X, so U1, and here the response spectrum function we define like IS1893 soil type 2, and scale factor should be Z by 2 into I by R. So just a minute, I will this scale factor. So this is very important point. So scale factor has a unit of acceleration and should be consistent with length units currently in use. Okay, so you have to ensure that like which unit you are using, where you are using meter or mm. So you can always switch to different units using this. So here you can change like length units, you can change force unit like this. So the sorry. So units, you can go to bottom right and change to consistent unit. So here you can make it meter and kilonewton. Okay. So if we go to that response spectrum case, so in the response spectrum case, this scale factor should be the unit of acceleration. Okay, so that would be now if you see just a minute, this advantage. So that unit of acceleration, and we have this much modification factors here, like G by 2 into SA by G into R by I. So the earlier in old version of ETABS, this factor was like IG by 2R. Because these factors were not applied in the response spectrum definition section. But when we have defined a response spectrum function, so let me go back to there. So define functions, response spectrum functions, this one. So here you can see we have already considered zone factor, and we have also specified the response reduction factor, and we have also considered I. So these values are automatically considered here. So we have to only apply this unit, whatever unit you have considered, that length unit, mm or meter. Based on that only we have to apply G, the acceleration due to gravity. So again, go here in load cases, response spectrum. So this factor is whatever is provided that will keep. This is acceleration due to gravity, G, 9.8067. Okay, then similarly add, you can add copy of case, and you can say response spectrum in Y direction. And here you can say U2 in Y direction, you have to do U2. Okay. Then now we can run analysis. And go to display show table. Now here we select 4 load cases. So okay, display show table. In show table, we are going to check only base reaction. Base reaction. So here you can see the equivalent static base shear was 342. Whereas in response spectrum X direction, you can see it is 133 in X direction and it is 129 in Y direction. So what code says about this? So let us go there. Yeah. So there is a capping on base shear. So what is that? So what code is saying, like the dynamic analysis may be performed by either time history analysis or response spectrum method. But when either of the method is used, the design base shear VB estimated shall not be less than the code base shear. That is called as VB bar. So we have to scale it such that so the our response spectrum base shear is matching with the equivalent static base shear. So if we go to tabs, here you can see these factors are not matching. So what we have to do, we have to scale that. So if you go here, if you can say this, so our equivalent static base shear is 342. Okay, 342 point. You can see my Excel, right? So it is 342.83. 342.83, and this also same. And this value, how much we have? 133.44 and 129.96. This is 133.44 and 129.96. So these are values. Now you can see the original scale factor what we have applied is 0.90. Sorry, 0.8067, 9.8067, and the modified scale factor in X direction it will be original scale factor into this equivalent base shear divided by response spectrum base shear. So the ratio of this would be like equivalent static to response spectrum is 2.56. So we have to multiply this factor by this. So the if you multiply the original factor into this ratio, you will get this. So what we have to do, we have to just apply this factor in the ETABS. So again go to define load cases, response spectrum in X direction. So here you put that value, apply, that is in X direction. Okay, so go to define load case response spectrum in X direction, and here you apply that factor. Then again go to in Y direction, and whatever factor was there in Y direction you can copy and you can paste it here. Okay, now we are going to run analysis again. And once analysis is run, we can go to display, show tables. And again, we are going to compare the base reactions. So here you can see now we have like response spectrum in X direction is 342. And in equivalent static method also we have same. So similarly for Y direction also. So once we are done with this, so we can now compare the base shear in X direction, Y direction using equivalent static method and response spectrum method, and also we can compare the story shear. Now you can see here, so this dotted one is showing response spectrum story shear, and you can see here it's showing response spectrum in equivalent static story shears. So actually in equivalent static method we are considering only one mode. In the response spectrum we are considering multiple modes, so that's why the response spectrum method is considering the actual deflected shape, and that is more accurate. But you can see from here there in equivalent static method your design would be your building would be seeing like more story forces. Okay, so if you see the overturning moment comparison, here also you can see the equivalent static, though we have compared the base shear, we have matched base shear, but overturning moment will be more for equivalent static method, because here you can see the story values means story shear values are less at the upper level and it is more at the bottom, because in equivalent static method we are assuming the distribution as a parabolic. So the here in the response spectrum method we are considering whatever deflected shape we are getting, so based on that deflected shape we are considering, so this estimate is more accurate. So here also you can see, since the story shear values were less at the top, so your overturning moment is less. So then next is the seismic effect on tall building. So what there is a one code called as IS 16700, wherein it is specified for like that seismic effect, the vertical shaking shall be considered simultaneously with horizontal shaking for tall buildings in seismic zone 5. If your building is in seismic zone 5, you have to consider vertical shaking also. And for buildings in seismic zone 5, deterministic site-specific design spectra may be preferred, pre-estimated, and used in design. Means if your structure is located in seismic zone 5, you have to consider the site-specific design spectra. So that is recommended. So also this code recommends the minimum base shear values. So whatever base shear values were provided in IS 1893, those values are applicable for height up to 120 meter. And for the structure with height more than 200 meter, we have separate minimum base shear values. And if our height is between the two, like between the 120 and 200, so we can linearly interpret it. So this is from the IS 16700, and here in IS 1893, the what code is talking about, like when we should consider the vertical component of earthquake. So when your structure is in seismic, so you have to the effect due to vertical earthquake shaking shall be considered when any of the following condition apply. So when your structure is located in zone 4 or 5, our structure is located in zone 3, so this condition is not satisfied. So if you have vertical or plant irregularities, we don't have any. So if your structure is resting on the soft soil, our structure is resting on medium soil. So if it is bridge, or if structure has long span, or the structure has the large horizontal overhangs of the structural members or subsystem. So we are not satisfying any of the conditions, so we need not to consider vertical component. But in case if required, so if your structure meeting any of this requirement, then you have to consider that. So how that component is considered? So in horizontal checking, what we have done, so we used to get this component like SA by G based on the period of structure. But here code is saying for building you consider 2.5. So and you can see that 2.3 factor is also applied here. So you have to use this equation, and based on this you will get the coefficient of vertical acceleration. So that is AV. So similar calculation how we have done for AS, we have to do it for that. So the next thing is load combinations. So what load combination we should consider? So what code is saying, like even when load combination do not contain earthquake effect, indicates the larger demands, that combination including them, the provision shall be adopted related to design, ductile detailing, and construction relevant for earthquake condition which are given in the standard IS 13920 or IS 900. That means let us say your structure is not governed by earthquake. Okay. And in that case also you have to design, you have to do ductile detailing for as per IS 13920 or and IS 800. And then other provision is like design horizontal earthquake load. So when the lateral load resisting elements are oriented along two mutually orthogonal horizontal direction, full design earthquake load in one direction at a time and not in both direction is considered. So that means how we are going to combine the two components. So now we have defined earthquake in X direction, we have defined earthquake in Y direction, how we are going to combine it. So what code is saying, like if you have a non-orthogonal members in your structure, so then you have to combine that. So how we can combine? So if you are considering load in earthquake in X direction, then you have to consider 30% component of Y direction. If you are considering load in Y direction, then you have to consider 30% component of the X direction. So and if you have like vertical component also in that, then if you are considering the load in X direction, so then you have to consider 30% in Y and 30% in Z. If you are considering in Y direction, then 30% in Z direction and 30% in X direction. If you are considering in Z direction, then you have to consider other two components also. So then and how the other way to combine this is like you can consider the square root of sum of the square. You can do this. So that will be like summation of x component square, then y component square, and z component square. You can consider and you can do this. So the what will be the combinations, the load combinations for this as per code? So for our structure, since there is no non-orthogonal member in the structure, so we can see the load combination will be 1.5 times dead load plus live load. So this is gravity load combination. Then other combination is 1.2 dead load plus live load plus response spectrum in x direction. So in this, like in earthquake load case, there will be always plus and minus, but in ETABS, so if you are considering response spectrum load case, this plus and minus is automatically done. So that's why we are not doing a minus component here. So even if you do, so you will get same answer. So this in x direction, then same in y direction. So other is 1.5 times dead load and 1.5 times response spectrum in x. Same in y direction. Then last combination is 0.9 dead load plus 1.5 response spectrum in x direction, and similarly in y direction. So this is for the design of members. Okay. So if you are done with this, once we are done with the what combinations to consider, so then we can define the load combination. So we can go to define load combination, add new combinations, and here you can say, let us say plus live load. So here you can say dead, and the scale factor is 1.5. Then second one is SDL. Then you can add live load. This is 1.5. Okay. Then you can add another combination, that is 1.2 times live load, dead load plus live load plus RSX. So you can see SDL, the scale factor is 1.2, 1.2, and live load is also 1.2, and response spectrum in X direction. So that also 1.2. Okay. So we can add a copy of this combination and we can change this to Y. Simply change here to Y. Okay. And then you can add a copy of this, and the 1.5 times dead load and response spectrum in X direction. So we can delete this, and response spectrum in X direction. This is 1.5. Okay, then you can add copy of this and change this to Y.
Hello, sir. Your ATAP screen is not visible.
Okay, can you see now? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, so basically what we have to do, add new load combination, and here you can, and I will demonstrate one more. So now we have defined like 1.5 times dead load plus live load, 1.5 times dead load plus response vector mean x and response vector mean y. So to add new combination, what you can do, add new combination, and then the next combination is 0.9 times dead load plus 1.5 times response vector in x direction. And here you can say the scale factor is 0.9. This SDL also comes under dead load, so 0.9. Then add a response spectrum in x direction, and this is 1.5. So this is one load case. So you can add a copy of this combination, change this to y, and here you can say change this to y. Okay, so the combinations are defined. So the next part is like deformation. So deformation for RC building shall be obtained from the structural analysis using the structural model based on section properties. So whatever section properties are provided, we have already applied that. And then what is the limitation on the story drift? So on the limitation on the story drift is 0.00 times the height of the buildings. And the one important thing here is the under the action of design base shear, the VB with no load factor shall be considered. So all the partial factor of safety should be 1. So here you can see the load combinations for the drift check. You can have a 1 times dead load plus live load, then 1 times dead load plus live load plus response spectrum in x direction, similarly for y direction. And the other would be like 1 times dead load plus 1 times response spectrum in x direction, similarly we can do for y direction. So these combination we should use for the deformation check. And also the one important thing, like here the displacement estimate obtained from the dynamic analysis methods shall not be scaled. So you remember we compared equivalent static base shear and we compared the response spectrum base shear, and that time the response spectrum base shear was less, and then we applied some modification factor. So this modification factor need not to be applied for getting the deformation. Okay, so let me demonstrate you the how to do design here. Now once we are done with all this, so what we have to do, we have to just run the design. So in design, you go to design, and you can see my screen, right? Okay. In design, you can go concrete frame design, view, revise preferences. So here you can select appropriate code, and if you want to change anything, so you can change. So this is by default property. So by clicking here, you can select the course you want to design for. Okay, again go to design, concrete frame design, and select design combination. So design whatever design combination for which you want to design, you just click here and move them to design combination. And the next would be to start our check design. Okay, so once you can also access this concrete frame design using this button. So here you can see the display design info, and this is longitudinal reinforcing. You can change this to percentage. So apply here and go to plan Now you can see these are the beam reinforcement. Like this is top, left, then top, mid, and top, right. Then these are like bottom, left, mid, and right. So all the beams, you are getting this reinforcement percentage. Then you can see the shear reinforcing. The shear reinforcing for beam is given. The ratio, this is the ratio of area of shear reinforcement divided by the spacing of reinforcement. Since the unit is in meter, we are seeing this. Sorry, mm. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. So here now this unit is changed to meter. So you can see this is your ratio. So let us say you have a two-legged 8 stirrup. So that area would be 2 into 50 is 100 and divided by spacing. If you do 100, so then your ratio will be around, I mean the ratio is 1. So accordingly, you have to provide the number of legs and the spacing. So this was about beam. If you go into elevation, you can see this here reinforcing for the columns also. Columns also it is provided. And if you change to rebar percentage, so you can see the percentage of reinforcement in column. Okay. So you can click on any beam. So you will see the detailed result here for each combination and each location. So you can see the what is the capacity and what is the demand. So you can say this is the requirement and this is what we have provided. So that report you will get for that given combination. You can see details also, like what are the sizes considered, what are the grade of concrete considered, and what are the forces we are seeing, and what is the rebar requirement. So that information you can get here. Okay, so this was about the design. So I want to show you one more thing. So let us convert this model to, let us say, service. Okay, so as we discussed, we need to calculate the deformation without the unscaled base shear. So we can go to define cases and response spectrum, and the scale factor we can change it to original scale factor. So go here, and this was 9.8067. Okay, then you can do also in Y direction. Okay, and now you can run the model. So once model is run, you can go to display and the story response plots. So here you can select the load case, sorry, what display type you want. I want the diaphragm drifts, and the combination you can take Okay, but we also need to define combinations. Okay, let's go to combinations, and here we need to change it to 1. So let us change this to 1. One, 1. Okay, and here also we need to change it to 1, 1, 1. Okay, so this we don't require, and this we have already defined. Okay. Now here diaphragm tips for combination we want, let us see for this in X direction. So you can see your story drift is 1.5 into 10 power minus 3. So that means it is 0.0015. Okay, this is the maximum. Next direction we can see other combinations also. So here is also around like 1.35 into 10 power minus 3. So that means it is less than 0.004. So we are okay in X direction. So we can also check in Y direction also. So it is around 1.7 into 10 power minus 3. So we are less than 0.004. You can check for other combination also. So it is similar. So here you can see the maximum story displacement. You can see the maximum story drift. You can see the story shears for the equivalent static load case. You can see equivalent static load case. Then you can see response spectrum load case. You can see response spectrum in. Right. So using this, you can check for the different load cases and different response you can see. So the one more thing I would like to show you. So if you go to plan, and here you can say displacement, and let us say response spectrum in X direction displacement. So let us switch on then. Now here you can see the displacement in X direction. So displacement in X direction, you can see it's 0.004. Here also 0.004, and here also you can see 0.004 in X direction. So we have assumed that our diaphragm is rigid, but we have to verify whether that is rigid or not. So based on this, you can see you have to see what is delta 1 and what is delta 2, and that is and what is delta middle. And then if these are different, then we have to calculate the average. But if you see in our ETABS in X direction, you have like uniform displacement in X direction. So I will say our diaphragm is rigid in X direction. So if you see that in Y direction too, so here you can see that this is 0.005. This is also 0.005, and this is also 0.005, and this is also 0.005. So it's very close. So in Y direction also our diaphragm is rigid. So I think I am done. So if there is any question, let me know. So I think there was a question. Can you explain procedure to develop site-specific response spectrum? So the procedure to develop site-specific response spectrum is the first thing you have to get the details, such as like what is soil type there. You have to do soil exploration if it is available. Otherwise, you can use code. And based on that, you can get the site class. Then you have to find out the faults in that area. So whether like how many faults are there and what are the potential potential earthquake that faults can create. So based on that, you will do either deterministic analysis, site specific probabilistic, or you can do probabilistic seismic hazard assessment, or you can do deterministic seismic hazard assessment. And based on that, you will get one PGA, so peak ground acceleration on that site. So and based on that, you can plot a response spectrum. So this is like simple steps I have shared with you, but you have to refer to some books. You can refer like Kramer's book, the geotechnical earthquake engineering, that Kramer's book. So you will find that procedure in there. So the other question was like drip check in response spectrum method. We need to consider I gross for column and beam, or the 0.7 or 0.35. So so what code is saying, the deformation of RC structure shall be obtained from the structural analysis using structural model based on the section properties given in 6.4.3. So that means we have to consider that 0.7 and 0.35. Okay. So the next question is, in ETABS, can ETABS calculate total quantity of area of steel? So no, ETABS is not doing that. Means whatever analysis we have done based on that, it's not doing. But I think there are like other tools available, so that we can utilize that and we can get quantities. But as my knowledge, based on the current whatever we have done, so for that we are not getting quantity. We are getting only quantity for the concrete. For concrete, we can get that quantity. Okay. So is there any other question? Hello.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, from participant. Is there any question? You explained in a very deeply manner, sir. So I think there should not any questions from the participant.
So there is one question like base software for response spectrum method. So actually you can use any software, I think. So for if you are doing building, so for me, it's like very easy to do in ETABS, but like some people might prefer STAAD also. So there are multiple softwares in the market, but there is no such thing like base software for response spectrum. So you can use any software. Okay, any other thing if you want to discuss, you can let me know. Otherwise, you can email me. So I already shared my email ID yesterday. Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much to have a deep insight over the practical and application of the earthquake system design.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Our next session at 1 p.m. after lunch break. Thank you very much for your patience listening. So after 2 minutes, I'm going to end this meeting and we meet at 1 p.m. exactly. Thank you.